Hi everyone, my name is Mr. Shook and I am your journalism teacher, and it's nice to have a front-facing camera today and give you a chance to show myself and introduce myself. And I wanted to let you all know that it has been a pleasure being your journalism teacher for this first half of the 9 weeks. But I wanted to let you know that we have a major change that is coming to the journalism class for the foreseeable future. And that is that I wanted to change the way that we handle our blogs. The way that we do our blogs right now involves using, of course, the Blogger website, which you're all familiar with, and to set up the blogs and to get your hyperlinks, your blog URLs, to be able to turn in the blogs involved a 9 or 10 step process that has been very complicated and in many ways too complicated. I want to change the way that we do that. And so it is with pleasure that I get to announce that we are moving on from Blogger. We will no longer be using Blogger to get our weekly blog posts in. Now we're still going to be blogging, but we're going to do it in a much more simplified way. Take a look here as I flip the screen and show you the way that we will be doing this. Now I have this set up for the traditional class, and I'm about to launch the folder for the virtual class. When you come here to your weekly assignments, just like we have in our virtual class, every week you will click on your weekly folder. And at the beginning of every week, I will have a discussion post. Here we have the blog that is due October 4th. Heads up, you have a blog due October 4th. Every week, you will now post your blog contribution, post your blog post directly as a comment. Now, I've already checked. Our blog posts tend to be between 200 and 300 words, and Schoology comments will allow for that. I was able to test it with a 400-word Google Doc that I copied and pasted into the comments, and every word was there. So, all of your what were your blog posts, all of your blog contributions will now be comments in Schoology, week in and week out. I still will refer to this as blogging, but we are not using Blogger. We are still doing the action of blogging, it's just going to be on Schoology. Now here's the deal. Most of you have already found your blog topic that you would like to talk about. Some of you, however, are still kind of working on your blog topics, or you might have a topic that is difficult to come up with news for 1 week. So you will have the option every week. You will be allowed to either post a news update about your blog. If you're doing technology, you may post technology news. You may continue posting technology news or sports news or whatever your blog post is about. Or you may answer a question that I pose in the blog. For instance, this week's question is, write about your first day at school. It may be the first day of kindergarten, or it might be the first day of any other year that you wish to describe. And tell me what occurred that stands out in your memory. You may answer this question, but I want to emphasize it. You only have to answer one of the questions. You can either post your blog topic update, post whatever news, or you may answer the question, but you do not have to answer both questions, right? It is just one or the other, week in and week out. Now, I also want to let you know that I am going to be changing the graded weight of the blog posts. Right now, they are worth 20 points, which hurts a lot if you fall behind in your blog posts. Now, again, I understand that this is an elective, and so I want you to put your priority in your core classes. And so if an assignment comes late, I've been generous in giving the points back, the full credit back, and not counting off for tardiness. But I want you to know that instead of 20 points, the blog post will now be worth 10 points. If you stay on top of it, if you do your blog post, it will still give you plenty of padding for things like quizzes and tests and whatnot that we might have in this class. But if you miss a week, losing 10 points doesn't hurt nearly as bad as losing 20 points. So we're changing the weight of the blogs. The blogs are also going to have 2 components now. It's for a total of 10 points. But the other benefit to using Schoology as opposed to Blogger is that now you will have an opportunity to read your classmates' blog posts. So, what I want you to do as part of your weekly blog post is to post your blog, but I also want you to comment on a classmate's blog post. It doesn't have to be a long comment. I want the comments to be somewhere between 2 and 3 sentences. And the reason why is because I want them to have some sort of substance to show that you read your classmate's blog and that you considered what they wrote and thought about what they wrote, but I don't want you to feel like you have to write a blog post in response to a blog post. Now, when it comes to these blog posts, I want you to be kind. If you offer criticism, it must be constructive criticism, which means that you build up your classmates, you tell them ways that they can improve their writing, ways that they tell their story in a constructive and in a helpful, kind manner. Now, ultimately, the grading will still be done by me. The grammar, mechanics, and the construction of the post will still be addressed by me. But if they're writing a blog post and something doesn't quite make a lot of sense, you might mention that. You might say that you really enjoyed this point, but that it might make more sense if they worded it in a different kind of way, right? You want to build up your classmates. We want to build each other up in this classroom. So, Schoology will now take over as our blogging platform. We will no longer use Blogger itself, but we will still continue blogging. On top of that, blogging grades will now be reduced to 10 points as opposed to 20. Now, that being said, your earlier blog posts from this past week all the way to the first week that we did them, I will still keep as 20 points. I will still keep them as 20 points because that is what the grades were expected to be, and I don't want to adjust your grades very much and throw you out of whack. And so it's going to be that moving forward, they will be 10 points. But these first 5 blog posts, which is how many you should have 5, these first 5 will still be worth 20 points. Now, finally, I know some of you are still working on getting your blog set up, getting Blogger set up, or having trouble adding posts to your blog. And so what I want to tell you is this. If you are behind on your blog posts, if you have not quite yet caught up to 5, or if you haven't even started, the way that you can make up the blog post is this. You may type up just a 1-page summary of some of the news that your topic is about. So what I mean by that is if your topic is technology, again, then over the past couple of days, over the past couple of weeks, just type me a 1-page summary about some of the technologies that's going on in the world. So if you're talking about tech, you might give me a third of a page on iOS 14, and then a third of the page on a laptop reveal, and then another third on some other kind of technological aspect. Or if you're doing sports, then it might be half of a page on last week's game and half of a page on the week before. Or any kind of post like that. Just give me a 1-page summary, and that is how we will consider that makeup work for the blogs from Blogger. If you do not have a topic and you need to make it up, then you will be able to answer that question in a page. Give me that 1-page answer, and we will work on that to get that blog work made up and have those points awarded to you. Now, I would also like to say that over the past week, I've received a lot of emails and direct messages and a lot of late assignments, and so I should have most of my email questions answered and I'm working on the direct messages as well. So if you see in your INL that you still have incomplete work that you have turned in, I do ask for your continued patience. Again, I had several students send me work over the past week when grades were updated. So I am working on that right now. I am getting those grades put in. And so again, if you have work that you have turned in that hasn't quite been graded yet, don't worry. I am updating those. They will be updated, and I am working to get back answers to emails and direct messages as well. So if you have not heard from me yet, I'm also getting back to you on that as well. So I thank you for your continued patience. You all are a wonderful class, and I am greatly enjoying working with you. And I hope that this will help alleviate some of the stress, help kind of take away some of the stress, because now we aren't worried about, a pop-up that won't let us access our site, and instead of 9 steps that we have to take, we just have the one step where we just post directly to Schoology. Now, I will say I do still recommend that you continue, initially typing in Google Docs so that you can get your word count in, and then you just copy and paste it into Schoology. And then that way too, you have a backup, because Google Docs will autosave. So if Schoology crashes, or if your Chromebook crashes, or something happens, then you'll still have your work saved as well. So if you have any questions, any at all, please feel free to get back with me. Send me an email, send me a direct message. Again, I'm working through those lists right now. I want to make sure that each person is getting the full answers that they're looking for, which is why there's been a slight delay. But I thank you for being marvelous students, and I am looking forward to continuing working with you. Have a good one.